stand for tomorrow, today. Aloha, multidimensional friends, shifters, dreamers, co-creators within this beautiful holographic matrix. Thank you so much for joining us once again. My name is Brendon, aka Skull Babylon, and you are tuning in for another live broadcast presented on behalf of ParadigmShiftCentral.com, a real-world interactive game to be able to help assist with the shift in consciousness. This is another Synergy Circle for today's date, August 1st, and of course we are joined here by some fellow shifters to be able to give some updates, to be able to connect with other leading members within the project, to be able to talk about the different ways in which we are helping shift consciousness, to be able to share some inspiration, to be able to document where we are at, to be able to create targets and intention of where we are moving forward, and to be able to share some wisdom and continue to build and grow as a team of shifters, of light guardians, as creators and of leaders, helping together play this game of accelerating the shift in consciousness. So of course, like I said, I am here with some fellow shifters. So fellow shifters, please feel free to gently unmute yourself and say hello to all the amazing people joining in right now. So go ahead, guys, say hello, make some noise, send out some love. Go ahead, be like whoop whoop whoop. Arr! Tribal instincts, yes. Go ahead, guys.
Greetings.
What's up, everyone?
Yo, what's up?
Awesome. Sweet. So thank you again, everyone, for being here, for joining in. Like I said, we got another awesome broadcast coming up for you. And of course, this is going to be a great opportunity for you to be able to learn a little bit more about the Paradigm Shift Central project. For those of you who may be brand new to this, we'll give you a little bit of an introduction. And beyond that, like I said, we'll start passing the talking stick around and give you guys a chance to be able to learn more about some of the leading members within the project. And of course, if you haven't yet, be sure to check out more at Paradigm Shift Central. In the future, please feel free to smash that like button. And also you can find us on MP3s at Paradigm Shift Radio on iTunes as well. So with that said, ParadigmShiftCentral.com, as I mentioned, is a real world interactive game to be able to help assist with the shift in consciousness. As a website, it is also a social media platform, a portal for being able to share conscious creations from leading members in the community. So myself as a YouTuber, we've got people who are creating dream vlogs, we got people who are creating music, we got people who are writing articles, all sorts of creations that are still to be coming your way as a project continues to build in momentum. But please feel free to check out the Paradigm Shift Central website, and we'll be able to you'll be able to keep in sync with the project. Be sure to download the Paradigm Shift Central mobile app as well, and you can also connect to our public Discord channel. And again, part of the way how you play the game is by working on yourself, by leveling yourself up, by taking action where you are. Of course, we encourage things like free hugs, we encourage things like random acts of kindness, we encourage being able to express your soul, to share your voice, to share how the shift is unfolding from your unique perspective. So with that said, we'll get right into the updates because I really want to practice being able to keep this broadcast relatively concise. I know some of us actually have to head out a little bit early, but we are just in the process of building momentum. This is the second Synergy Circle within the recent updates that we've done. But of course, before this, we've done many iterations of other broadcasts under the names of team roundtables and team building circles. But here with the recent updates, things are becoming even more refined in the project. So I'll go around and I'll share a little bit in terms of my own updates, and from there passing the talking stick over to, I think we're going to pass over to Neil first, just because I know he's going to be having to head out soon, and then from there we'll be able to introduce two new leading members within the project, Alister as well as Kyle. So in terms of my quick updates that I want to be able to share, again, just dropping into this space of using this broadcast as a very powerful way to be able to help document how the shift is unfolding, what has happened since the last time we've done this broadcast. For myself, one of the big things that happened is that I took part in the Pride Parade, and I was doing free hugs there with fellow shifters in the community, and including some local leading members as well, such as Louie, who is on the last broadcast, and also Lacey Joy, who is another leading member who I'm sure you guys will get a chance to meet in future broadcasts as well. So summarizing the story, the Pride Parade is such an awesome place to be able to do free hugs, and I've done this twice before the Pride Parade. One of the times I was dressed up as Mystic Spider-Man, which is still some footage from a while ago that I'm gonna go back and edit. This time just went in my regular like civilian gear, but I had my Spider-Man t-shirt on, so I was kind of like half and half. And again, I met up with Lacey and with Louie, and I had a bunch of free hug signs in my bag, loaded up with my satchel of shift buttons. And basically when the parade started, started, I just kind of like helped lead the squad. And I'm like, all right, like Louis, Lacey, you guys are gonna like stand here at the corner and just like allow people to come to you and hold that space, drop into that vibration, and let's just let things unfold. Let's let the magic unfold. And of course, in Pride, it's such a powerful place to be able to do free hugs. It is such an open celebration of love. And doing it there's so much reception, so many people that were just like, yes, this is awesome. And one of the beautiful things about being able to do free hugs at Pride Parade, like I said, I've done this previous years twice before, and within those previous years I've always brought extra free hug signs. So again, the free hug signs and the shift buttons, those are all available through the game at questitemshop.com. And so I had about like at least 15 laminated free hug signs. And one of the things that was really cool is that not only were we handing out free hug signs while we were doing it this time, so again, it started off with 3 of us, but then as other people were just kind of hanging around, I'm like, hey, like, do you guys want to grab a sign too? Please, like, here, take this with you. And you see people get so excited about it. And what was really cool is that eventually a friend came up to us who was in the parade. So again, we were on the side of the parade. We were like part of the pedestrians. But one of our friends who was in the parade, they came up to us and they're like, oh my God, like Lacey, Brendon, I'm so happy to see you guys. The entire way that the parade was taking place, we actually saw like your free hug signs along the way. So like that was like so cool to hear. The fact that again, these were like obviously signs that I had given out to people in previous years at the Pride Parade that now people had brought with them multiple years later, and we're just kind of like all across like the route of the parade. And again, it's just goes to show that the seeds that we plant today, you never know how far they go. And so it was amazing to be able to hear about just the fact that like the seeds that we planted, you know, years ago were still blossoming today. And there was even another friend of mine, and this is actually a shout out from the last broadcast. I mentioned that I met a friend at Comic-Con, and I basically just kind of like said how much them meeting me was an inspiration for them. Leading into the parade, I actually like went out of my way to like give them a bunch of shift buttons and also a satchel, much like the one that I have. I actually have a few extra, and I gave them some extra signs and basically like geared them up in the same way I was gearing myself up, and they were in the parade. And so they actually like went out and like had their satchel, had the like free hug signs, and they were doing free hugs like where they were too. And so like that was super awesome knowing that there was like multiple kind of shifters happening throughout the free hugs event. And again, it was just a super awesome experience. I filmed it with my 360 camera, so I'm still diving into the editing, and I'm looking forward to being able to show you what that's going to be like. It's obviously going to be a little bit different. So again, that's basically all I want to report on in terms of that. And really, again, just encouraging people to go out there, do simple things that make a big difference, be it free hugs, acts of kindness, helping people in your community wherever you are. And yeah, just totally just want to give a huge shout out to everybody doing all the little work that they're doing, again, the little things that make the big difference where they are in the community. Other things that I just want to let people know is that last week I talked about the Alma experience that I had, and that was when I met Alma, the hugging saint, on my birthday. There is a full shift entry online for that now, which you can check out more at the Paradigm Shift Central website. I won't really talk too much about that now because I did talk about it last broadcast, but I do just want to let you know that that's there. In other entries happening on the main website, you're going to start seeing more of those. In particular, I know Lacey Joy, she actually has a super cool dream log that she's going to be posting within this next week, and that will be perfect because that's going to be leading up into our dream class broadcast, which is actually going to be next Thursday. So that's going to be on August 8th, and that's going to be our broadcast where we talk a lot about dreams and everything. So that's a little bit about my updates, and yeah, I'm going to start passing the talking stick around, and apparently I have to do some back end tech stuff to be able to fix the broadcast so that the sound's working on Facebook. Thanks for letting me know, Manders. Appreciate that. And Jessica, I'll switch over to that. So again, thank you everyone for being here. Let's pass the talking stick over to Neil, because I know Neil's going to have to jump off in the next half hour, and he's going to share some updates. And again, just a general introduction. There's going to be some people who haven't met him before. So Neil, go ahead, passing the talking stick to you, and when you're ready, brother.
Awesome.
Welcome back.
Thank you, man. Hey everybody, what's going on? My name's Neil with Portal to Ascension is my organization. And if you guys weren't here last time or haven't heard about us, we're basically an event production company for consciousness. We've worked with over 300 plus speakers and new speakers every single week, researchers, whistleblowers, archaeologists, quantum physicists, spiritualists, holistic practitioners. Basically, it's a one-stop shop for the awakening that's going on the planet right now. So we've over the last 11 years of creating events, we've started with one a month to one a week, and now we have 3 events on one weekend in 3 different states. And next year we're going international to Spain. We're going to do the UFO Congress in Spain. So we have created a service for conscious presenters that allows them to continue their work and their research without having to deal with the marketing aspect and the production element of it all. And it's all under the umbrella of Portal to Ascension. And we just started a few new productions that next year we're going to get into. Right now, we're producing around 130 events a year. We just finished 2 tours, one on UFO disclosure and another one on ancient civilizations with a guy called Michael Tellinger. And but next year we're kind of like broadening our horizons and going into different topics. Whereas we have our annual conference, the Portal to Ascension conference in Irvine, which is our second annual this year in October. But we're going to have the California Cannabis Conference, which is going to be a 3-day conference in Orange County, and that's going to be what we're hoping is going to be a free event with basically on the science of cannabis, how to invest in cannabis, what's going to happen with it, the hemp industry, the history of why it was banned in the first place. So that's one conference that we're going to start annually in Orange County. And then we're doing the Psychedelic Awareness and Plant Medicine Conference in Oakland, which is going to be, you guys may not have heard, but Oakland, California, as well as Denver, Colorado, have both completely decriminalize all plant medicine. So any psychedelic or entheogenic plant that creates a psychedelic experience or not that is natural has been completely decriminalized. So with that, the reason for that is because there's so much evidence coming out now in research proving that psychedelics and different types of plants can actually help us, and it's almost like therapy and can help people with mental issues. So certain places now are really pushing forward for it to be decriminalized, and even Illinois is pushing to have all psychedelic plants decriminalized by next year. And with that, even though a lot of people like us who are into this are going to be like, that's awesome, we got to realize that there's a huge community out there of people who have no idea what this is, what psychedelics are, have always been taught that psychedelics are drugs and that you want to stay away from them. And this just coming out now and being open to the public, there is a little bit of pushback. So what we're going to do is create this conference where we can, reach out to the community and take away the stigma of psychedelics in the US and try to show them something different by not only incorporating the science behind it all, but also incorporating the indigenous wisdom in medical situations. Whereas there's this whole indigenous connection that goes back thousands of years that has been overlooked, especially when it comes to the mainstream academia people. So we're going to try to really incorporate the two of that. All right, and that's basically it really for what we're doing right now. But I wanted to show everybody our new trailer for our conference, if that's cool. Okay. So we have
absolutely, Neil. Go ahead, cue that up.
All right, let me see here. Share screen. So this is our second annual Portal to Ascension conference. The first one was last year October. This is going to be every October in Irvine, California, and we've been doing a lot of online events for the last 2 to 3 years. And the goal has been to get back into, live events. And this is kind of a baby, and it's called the Portal to Ascension Conference because not only is it branded our name, but also that it encompasses everything within the ascension. That not only are we talking about like the financial fraud and the manipulation, the corruption that's happened, we're talking about vibration and frequency. We're discussing the bigger picture of why we came here in the first place, and how we can transcend these negative energies by not having to fight against them like it's like something separate from us, but how to embrace it as our lesson on earth. So this entire conference will have a lot of information on ancient civilizations. One thing we work hardcore on is exposing the truth of our ancient history, because the history books do not tell us the exact history, and history has been written and rewritten over and over again by the victors. And so much so that even history as recent as 50 years ago, 100 years ago, is so manipulated that we're living our lives based on something that may not entirely be true. And if you go even further back, we're now finding all these advanced ancient civilizations highly on exposing our true ancient history. But within that, you get into the cosmic connection of the star beings and how we got to this planet, the technology that's used, if there's governments and different programs on the planet right now that are utilizing this technology and why it's not available to the masses. So that's kind of like the prequel of what our conference is about. And now I'm going to play the video.
That looks awesome, man.
Thanks, dude. That's like our baby right there, and it's gonna be
Sweet,
epic.
dude.
The way I explain it to people, it's like a concert with ancient history and UFOs. You know, like as soon as you get in, the music is. Another day we have this epic gong bath, and then on one day we have capoeira, a whole capoeira experience right after lunch. So it's like high energy. It's really about celebrating life, and all these speakers that go around the circuit and are like really like drained, like doing so many presentations, and they're just like living their passion. Our event is like a celebration at the end of the year where people come together. It's like super relaxed. We're all just getting together in communion and celebrating the work that we're doing. So I invite everyone to, if you can, come out, Irvine, California, October 4th, 5th, and 6th. And if you aren't able to come to Irvine, you can live stream the event. But if you want to stay connected to us, the best way is go to our website, portaltoascension.org, sign up there in the newsletter, and you'll get a username and password, which will give you people that are just waking up so they can like figure everything out in one place. But it's also for next level light workers that are attempting to go into depth of certain topics so that they can really become teachers of this information in the new age. Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. And I did just want to mention, state the obvious for people who would have just been listening to the audio version of this, like through podcast format. So there was like visual on screens that were introducing the variety of people who are going to be at the conference. And I apologize because I was doing the tech thing and I had to step away, so I didn't hear. Did you already give like a general list of some of the main presenters, or at least some of the? Can you re-mention some of the ones that were in the video?
Yeah.
For the people who obviously got to hear some cool music but didn't get to see the list of some of the speakers and stuff, if you're able to do that.
So a few of the speakers that we have JJ and Desiree Hertek, who hold on, my Google phone is going off and it's like annoying me. Hold on.
No worries.
All right, so we have JJ and Desiree Hertek, who JJ wrote The Keys of Enoch. He was also on he was affiliated with Project Blue Book and Alan Hynek, and really like was debriefing like government officials back in the day, a few decades ago. And now he does a lot of information on True Biblical Scholar, where he goes into depth about the truth of the Bible and how it connects to our ancient history. So him and his wife will be there. They do a really amazing presentation together. We have Travis Walton, who some of you may have heard of, Fire in the Skies, the documentary, and he is a really well-known experiencer. He's going to come there and talk about his experiences and what's going on right now with the UFO disclosure. and then Whitley Strieber, who's also well known, is will look like, and what that transition is going to look like based on his experiences when he has gone and visited with extraterrestrials and interdimensional beings.
Fascinating, man. Yeah, there's quite a few names there that I recognize. One of them in particular, Billy, is it Billy Carson?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Billy Carson, a lot of people would even know his. He runs one of the bigger Instagram pages, Forbidden Knowledge, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like that's, and he wrote like a recent kind of like new rendition of the Emerald Tablets,
Yeah,
kind of like a that he recently has been putting out. So I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of people who are going to be listening to this and be like, oh yeah, like I follow that guy's channel and things like that. So that's pretty cool that you and him are actually, you know, like you guys are working together and everything. That's some big news, man.
And we do like 3 events with him a year right now. We do 2 online and then a live event, and then next year, because we also do tours and for different speakers, like we just did one with Michael Tellinger, just did one with Emery Smith. So next year we're gonna do hopefully do a Forbidden Knowledge tour with Billy Carson.
Awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Awesome,
so it's just
man.
like taking this information, having it online where it's available to the entire planet, where they don't have the opportunity to go to these events, like a small village in Kazakhstan to a town in India to wherever, right? And then we create the live events in order to really like activate communities and bring everybody together, so that people that are interested in the same topic that didn't know that there was like another 100 people in the same town into it, you know, are able to come together. And it's fun, man. Like this year, what the goal was to go out of the West Coast, because we've been on the West Coast for 8 years, and we wanted to like start getting a presence on the East Coast. So we did that for the first time, and then next year we're trying to go international for everybody's going to be into. So we're just creating the infrastructure right now for what's to come.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Yeah, and again, I love the parallels of what we're doing, like between, you know, Paradigm Shift Central and Portal to Ascension. It's very much like working towards those common objectives, yet again just kind of like fulfilling different needs and everything. So dude, like before we pass the talking stick over, and if there's any other updates you want to share, absolutely. But why do you personally feel that the work that you're doing is like something that, you know, matters to you? Like what kind of like I know we kind of talked about this a little bit in the past, but like why is this important to you, you know, from your personal passion?
Well, there's nobody in the world, like when I've worked with different people and people said, who's your demographic? And then I say like the entire planet, because this information, there's nobody in the world that can be impacted somehow from this information, whether it's like just how to live healthy on the planet with where what you eat and stuff, to like your galactic history and how you got incarnated here in the first place, you know? So it's like this information is truly the greatest story ever told, and it's an underlying premise of the entire planet. A lot of us are just operating in completely docile, in complete denial, and with amnesia to who we are and where we came from. We're like, we have this need to belong and connect and figure out our culture and where we come from, but ultimately we don't remember our incarnations, our different places that we've been. And there are many other civilizations in the universe that remember all the incarnations. So, and we spoke about this last time, it's like so beautiful to be on this planet, because how do we discover and how do we find the light in the place where we forgot where we came from? So not only like do we come from this place, but we're here to like reclaim the light within us without remembrance, conscious remembrance of the light that we came from. Stop doing this like 4 or 5 times, because it wasn't literally in the beginning. I needed to pay some bills, you know, and like I couldn't pay the bills. I was doing this full time, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna quit this, and I got to go do something that like provides for me so that I can actually survive. And a few times I was like, actually, once I was homeless with my now wife, because we took out a loan to put on an event and we couldn't even afford our rent for our place. And so I was like, dude, I'm done with this. But every time I quit, there was some amazing synchronicity, some person that connected with me that brought me back into creating these events. And then when in 2008, when I decided to do this again, I was like, okay, this is like the 4th time that I'm jumping back into doing this in 2010. So either this time I'm not going to do it, how much I made to myself, that no matter what, dude, just going to create content and just keep spreading love.
Awesome, man. Yeah, dude. Again, you know, the word that really comes to mind with what you're doing, with what we're doing, is the word devotion. And so I really appreciate your devotion, man. Like, again, it's kind of, that's why we share these stories through Paradigm Shift, because I want to be able to introduce people in the community and allow them to meet people who are really in this place of devotion, this place of kind of, again, answering that call of like, what's the thing that I can do that nobody else can do? You know, like if Neil wasn't doing this, would somebody else be doing it? Like maybe, but I mean, maybe that's a parallel reality. But I mean, the fact is we're in this one, and thank goodness, you know, you're here doing what you're doing, because if you weren't, you know, it's just be like there'd be a piece of the puzzle missing. So everyone's got their own contribution, and again, man, we're still just like picking up momentum, and we're planting those seeds. And I know you've been planting thousands of seeds over the years. So I mean, the work that we're doing, the impact of it is literally astronomical. And so again, man, like on behalf of, like, you know, the cosmos of the universe itself, like, thanks for what you're doing, man. You're holding up some big mirrors, so really appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Awesome, man. Is there anything, because I know you have to head out in a little bit, is there anything else you want to share, just in terms of like wisdom, insight, and inspiration for the people listening to help spark their fire?
I could do a little poem.
Oh, dude, absolutely, man. Of course. Right. That'd be great. Can't have Neil on broadcast.
Is my audio like good enough?
It sounds pretty good. Right, yeah, cool. Guys in the YouTube and Facebook, drop some 1111s if you guys are sounding, if it sounds good for you. But it sounds good on my end. So go ahead, man. That'd be great.
So are we one yet? Going back to source. No remorse when reinforce the course that we all endorse. Unconditional love. It's the highest vibration and gift from above. Desolation or separation, we must be the ones that say this is enough. You see, the third dimension, man, was meant to be tough. There is no captivity, so unlock the cuffs. Move away from hate and trust. Begin to unlock the cuffs. Our thoughts shifts the Earth's quest into straight axis, just like an Atlantis. Stop causing damage and learn to manage self-realization. When people start to vanish and we change our intentions and join the like-minded souls in the fifth dimension, this is the beginning of our oversoul mission. What is it that you envision for the future incarnations? The Christ consciousness has arisen, tear the perception of being in a prison. This industrial system, slumber of opposites, duality where we get lost and forget how to circumvent and achieve liberation. The curiosity won't last for long at all as we move to the aquatic age, break free from the third dimensional cage of limitations, Freemasons being misplaced in this illusionary reality. Governing authorities, there will be no more war. Co-create a love ambassador, open the doors. Life isn't supposed to be a chore. No getting on your knees worshiping entities from the floor. The message is simple, man. We don't need to know anymore. We are the ones that we've been waiting for.
Nice, man. Awesome. How long ago did you write that one?
2006.
Right, so like over 10 years ago. Yeah. And it's still just as fresh. Like, that's the thing, man. Like, yeah. That's awesome. Sweet. All right, Neil, thank you again, man. Super honored to have you here. And again, for everybody here, portaltoascension.org. Be sure to check it out. Bookmark it. Take some look. Give yourself a treat. Buy one of the recordings and let people know about it as well. And yeah, attend some of their conferences if you're able to in the future. And dude, you know, like when things kind of open up for it, I'd love to be able to make it down to one of your events. And hey, if we want to like do anything on stage together or something, that'd be super dope, man.
We should talk about that for sure. Maybe next year. End of the year.
Absolutely, man. It could be sooner rather than later. And absolutely, man, this week, next week, we'll definitely talk a little bit more about getting some stuff online for some shift entries, be it some of like your poetry and anything else that we want to share to be able to help get that inspirational info out there. So
let's do it, homie.
Sweet, man. Awesome, dude. All right, so Neil, you're jumping off now then?
Yeah.
Is that good for you? Perfect. All right, Captain, thank you so much, and we'll catch up with you soon enough. Okay. Much love, Neil. Cheers. Sweet. All right, so thank you again to Neil. So again, check out his links are in the down below in the YouTube info after the broadcast has aired. But if you're in the live chat, you'll see it there. Again, portaltoascension.org. And you can also find him on Instagram at portal_2_ascension and on Twitter at P2ascension. And and I know he didn't mention this time, but you can also find him at MC Resonance. And I think that's his YouTube channel as well. But yeah, check out some shift entries coming from him in the future. So with that said, we're going to pass the talking stick around, and I want to be able to introduce Alister next. And I do just want to be able to, again, we honestly, like, we do have other people that had mentioned earlier that they were going to try to be on the broadcast, but if we don't get to introducing them today, absolutely we'll be able to introduce them in future broadcasts. Yeah, I know, like, we're going to keep this broadcast pretty short, but if there's anybody here who's a leading member or like thinking about being a leading member who's listening to this live right now, possibly even like a female, just so we can kind of like bring in some balance of the energy, and you just want to like jump on air right away, either send me a message through Facebook or through the Discord, and I can send you the Zoom link so that you can join. Again, no pressure, but if you're just like, hey, I could have something to share, more than happy to be able to invite you on as well. I know we got like a couple of the members in the community who are tuned in right now, so I appreciate you guys being here. All right, so with that said, we're going to introduce Alister next. And Alister, a lot of some of you will actually remember him because we've actually had him on an episode of Paradigm Shift Radio. It was like episode 50 something, way back in the day. This would have been back in like 2012, 2013. 2012. And again, Alister and I, we just kind of like, working on similar things through the internet, really just vibed with what each other were doing, invited him on as a guest. And so he'll tell you a little bit more about what he does, but he's been really merging consciousness with music, and in particular metal music. And he's been really, again, devoted to being able to help create conscious media in a variety of formats that he's been posting online, again, for many years now. And again, been planting many seeds. So Alister, happy to be able to introduce you as a leading member within Paradigm Shift Central. And go ahead, brother, passing the talking stick over to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and again, a little bit about what you're doing to help shift consciousness. Go ahead, brother.
All right. Well, okay. So I play in a metal band called DMT. So if you don't know what DMT is dimethyltryptamine. Or for me, it turned out being a divine moment of truth. So it started back. I've always been on this spiritual path where I always felt there was something behind the veil of reality, something just wasn't quite, something mysterious about reality that I just couldn't really pinpoint, And I had grown up with this strict religious background, but after I started questioning and looking at stuff for myself, that's when I started to find these answers. And then it was in 2006, I read this book called Supernatural by Graham Hancock. And in that book is where it all changed, because that's where in his book, he discussed ayahuasca and having his own ayahuasca journey, and how his visions tied into ancient mysteries, and how all these ancient religions were drawing all their ancient paintings and temples and creating all these monuments, for something that was actually real. Today they say it was myths, but these were all built for real purposes. So that's the first in 2006 when I saw the three letters DMT, and that's when like everything just kind of clicked. Like everything was like, okay, I see. There's something real here, But it wasn't until 2012 that I actually took the dive in and experienced it. So from all those years, I was kind of like doing the inner work, trying to reflect on my own shadow, trying to do all the stuff that you should be doing before you enter that space, so that way it's not so harsh. But when I did it in 2012, it was still harsh. So obviously I didn't do enough shadow work. And what it actually ended up showing me was just how unconscious I really was, and how everybody really is. And that word unconsciousness, and I started going more deeper into it. So then that's when I met Brendon.
Sorry, Alister, I just want your microphone kind of shifted a little bit. Your microphone just kind of shifted. I'm not sure, just before you go deeper, because it was sounding good, and then we'll just do a quick sound check.
Can you hear
me?
Go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if a setting changed or something. It's not horrible, but it was better a second ago. And
let's see.
We don't have to try too hard to be able to get it fixed, because I know we were just like getting to the I didn't want to interrupt either.
Is that any better?
It's good enough. Yeah. So go ahead.
Is it good enough? I'll just speak up a little.
Yeah.
All right. So where was I? We were in 2012, so that's where we met, and I was just kind of fresh off of that divine moment of truth, that mystical experience. And I know we did on that broadcast, we talked in detail about it, but so ever since then, though, I've been on this sort of mission to like put out this message, almost just to bring more awareness about unconsciousness, and how within us. There's this whole other dimension that we can use to reflect on ourselves, really, you know? That's what it really is. It's a platform to reflect. His mission just to keep expressing the awareness of this altered state of reality, you know, that it's always right here, you know, around us, next to us all the time. We're just not aware of it because we just can't perceive it, you know? So that's the main thing that I do. You know, I do things a little bit more behind the scenes. You know, I'm not very active out physically as you guys are, but I constantly am pushing through digital media. You know, pushing the message through. You know, just almost every day, just trying to put out little seeds. You know, and you know, every day I always get positive feedback, so I know it's it's reaching out, making waves, and rippling out. And, you know, and you see the effects it makes. You know.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome, man. And yeah, and again, I love the idea that you're bringing your messages through in especially like the mediums of music and in particular metal, because I mean, you know, some people might not be entirely familiar with like the metal genre. It might not really be their thing, but if you were to just dive deeper purely just from kind of, you know, like an observation of it, I think you'll find that there's a lot of metal bands out there that really dive into some deep metaphysical philosophical topics and
Right.
do have quite a positive message. So I think again, you know, people think metal, they think like, oh, angry frustration and everything like that. But with the work that you're doing with your stuff, like again, it's like it can be like this very sacred message, and then using like the tones that we come across like through the metal can actually like I mean I guess I'm curious, like how do you feel that combining your messages through the medium of metal music actually allows it to, you know, either reach a different audience or provide a very unique experience for the people? I'm sure you've had people, you know, come across your stuff and then eventually tell you and be like, dude, like I've been listening to these lyrics and like this is deeper than I would have expected from like a metal band or anything. So yeah, I'm just
Right.
curious to hear a little bit more about, you know, the inspiration and the magic that you put into crafting your music, particularly as a band.
Right. Right. So, you know, a lot of people think of DMT and I think of um, like like electronic music or you know like the psytrance you know kind of music. But for me, DMT is really about tapping into like energy. Energy, you know, is really you know think of an explosion. You know how much energy is in there. Think of the sun. You know how much energy. You know that's kind of like the core of metal music. It's kind of like that energy behind that push. You know, so some people will associate anger with it, but really it's just aggressive energy. And you know, anger is usually the outlet for that aggressive energy. You know, so but it could that energy could be used for positive things. So as far as like music, it's kind of a positive thing. You know, so I'm this kind of calm, passive person, kind of have this low voice, but on stage I can channel and evoke kind of like the dragon spirit out of myself, you know, and that's the energy that I pull out. And like so for me, the DMT experience, which was really rough and extreme, it it kind of had that pulse and energy of for me for more like metal music. So that's why I kind of resonate with that energy more. And actually, you know, so we're tuned to the to B, you know, so like bands, you know, tune the different keys. So we're tuned to B, which is like the root chakra of destruction, you know, so it's like the bottom, and that's where we start. Because if you want to transform, you got to start from the bottom and you know work your way up, you know in a sense. So that's what we're doing. We're kind of driving that energy, at least to start you on that path, you know, because it all has to be done internally on your own. You know, nobody can say magic words to make you become enlightened or do anything. You can't even do a psychedelic and become enlightened. It's still your own reflection, the way you perceive it. Because I've seen a lot of people do psychedelics and you know what? They're not enlightened, you know? So it's like there's more to it. The integration, it's what you do after that. It's what you do daily, how you interact with everybody around you, you know, every single day, you know. So, you know, and not falling back into that unconscious pattern, you know, because it's easy to fall back. Once you lose your focus, once you forget, it's easy to fall back to old patterns. So it's about keeping that awareness every day. So for me, by posting, that helps keep that awareness also within me, you know?
Awesome, man. Sweet. Well, dude, again, for everybody listening to this, I'm more than happy to be able to invite you to check out more of Alister's work. And again, you can find that at dmtmetal.com, I believe, right? Yeah, dmtmetal.com is the main website for the project that you can check it out there. And if I were to queue up a song just to be able to give people a quick sample, you guys won't be able to hear it within the Zoom call, but the people on the broadcast will be able to hear it. What would be a good song I could pull up on YouTube that you'd want to be able to feature, even just like a good like 30 seconds of it? I got
Probably
Activate queued up.
Activate the
Perfect.
more commercial one, and we had Tina Guo on it.
That's
Cellist,
what I got queued up. So
right,
sweet,
perfect.
sweet. Should I start it from the beginning? Or maybe like just
Hopefully
go in
get
about
the
like
melodic part before 30 seconds.
okay. I'll just jump into about 30 seconds and we'll just kind of bring the audio up a little bit. So this is a quick sample, and again, you know, like for everybody listening to this, again, like part of the reason behind doing this broadcast is because we want to create this platform to introduce the work of what people are doing to be able to help shift consciousness to more people. In the same way, you know, for the people listening to this, like, hey, if you're listening to this and you're inspired by this, then we want to be able to allow you to share your message as well in any medium. So I mean, again, the fact that like here's Alister sharing and shifting consciousness through the medium of metal music, something that a lot of people probably wouldn't think of, allow that to be inspiration of just be like, wow, like how many other mediums are out there that we can incorporate consciousness into, you know, like any piece of art, you can kind of, you know, weave it through with powerful intention. So I think this is a great example. So Alister, we're going to play the music again. You can just, Kyle, if you, I feel like Kyle's probably already listening to it in the background. But we're going to play it for the audience, here in 2 seconds. So Alister, if I can just ask you to mute your microphone, and then we'll cue you back up as we switch it over again. So here we go. Here's the song Activate by DMT. So if you literally look up DMT Activate on YouTube or DMT Metal on YouTube, you'll be able to find this as well. So here we go, and allow me to just bring up the audio on this 1 second. Here we go. Awesome. Okay, so there we go. We're just bringing the volume down on that. That was just a quick sample. And yeah, just as a quick little moment there to be able to share with you again some of what the DMT band is producing. And that song was released on YouTube in 2017. And I actually just want to be able to go over some of the lyrics. And so I'll read out some of the lyrics here, and we'll just like dive into this just for a little bit, because it's definitely worth it for those of you who are listening. I'm sure you could probably hear some of the lyrics, and again, sometimes with metal music, some people, they're just like, I don't understand what they're saying, you know, it's just too guttural. But with this one, it's actually quite audible. So some of the lyrics here, and then I'm gonna just kind of like pass it back over to Alister, and he can just kind of, you know, talk a little bit more about it. But it's actually like pretty straightforward. If you're just reading this, like, again, this just sounds like some sort of like poetry that someone has written. So here's the lyrics. It says, I am a chemical fire boiling inside, surrounded by these sleepy people, activate their minds. I am the mystery, dimethyltryptamine. slowly gaining ground, turning life around. Breathe, know that you'll never die. Be pillars of light. See, expanding your consciousness. Feel connected with life. Know you're alive. And that's just like the first part of it there. So again, I really encourage everybody to go check that out. We'll put that specific link for that video into the show notes. And Alister, I can definitely see, again, just kind of like a smile on your face, and I love being able to see that, because again, it's just kind of like a lot of love has gone into making this. A lot of magic, a lot of passion has gone into making this. So anything else you want people to know in particular about this song, or even just some of the lyrics or the inspiration, or what you would hope people would get out of it as well, perhaps? The story
you know, it's still just, it's, you know, still a part, you know, of you know, bringing awareness, you know, to this altered state, you know. So that's what this song really is about, you know. It's how we, when you enter it, you know, it's something you know, you can be scared, but really in that moment you realize, you know, you really don't ever die, you know, that you transition to some other space. So that's really, you know, the kind of aura, or the energy which we wanted to kind of bring out in this song, you know, that there is something beyond this reality, you know, so you don't have to be afraid, you know, in essence.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and again, it also it kind of like sets an example of kind of like our journey that we're going through. The idea of like us being, you know, the chemical fire, and us like having the purpose to be able to activate minds. You know, kind of like that social Jedi. For those of you who aren't familiar, the term Jedi literally translates to pillar of light in like the old, like way back when it was like related to like the Egyptian like secret society type special school of people here to help shift the world. And so yeah, man, I really appreciate you sharing this, and I actually want to be able to just invite Kyle to jump in on the conversation, because we'll be able to segue, and he'll be able to introduce himself next. But it's cool because there's actually common ground here, because Kyle actually is involved with his own like metal music as well. So you guys actually got like, we got two like metal musicians in here. So I'm actually really curious to just be able to pass the mic over to Kyle for him to be able to express his gratitude, and just, you know, from his perception, you know, like what he hears when he you know, checks out some of your music, or just, you know, the common visions that you guys have in terms of weaving consciousness into that music and art. So Kyle, we'll pass over to you, and go ahead, and you can just kind of respond to what Alister has shared.
Yeah, man, I definitely dove right in and like listened to that stuff. I found you guys on Spotify, so I liked you guys on Spotify. I followed you guys on Spotify. Figured you guys were there on Spotify somewhere. I don't know how local you guys are to your area. I don't know whereabouts you guys even are. So,
We're in Los Angeles. We're like in the Los Angeles area.
okay, that's pretty cool. Now I've been making music for a long time. Like I've always been playing music. I've always been playing guitar. I've always been practicing vocals. I've always been doing something musically. Um, you know, um, I got my hands involved in a lot of different areas of music. I was actually trying to segue from Neil because I had a lot to say on what he had to say, and then you said what you were talking about with your metal, and I was like, oh man, well I have like a lot to say about that also. My band's called Aberrant Light, and we're like classic death metal with like some groovy kind of like crowbar sort of groove to it. The lyrics that I personally write always have like a deeper meaning to them, and the lyrics that because I'm the vocalist now of this project, and um, you know, the things that I write lyrically mean a lot. They mean something deeper. Some of the stuff, you know, that the other guys write are like classic death metal. So a lot of, you know, zombies are killing or something like that. Yeah, darkness. You know, but that also gives people a place to express those feelings when they are feeling that way or something. You know what I mean? So still gives everyone an outlet. However, you know, I was really on point with you when you were saying how, you know, that you want to put out a message, and how you feel like you've always been sort of like called or something to put out like a message. And I feel the same way. I feel the same way about my music. And I also feel the same way about this paradigm shift thing here that we've got going on. And I've always felt that way because it's a great platform for us to come together and like meet each other and stuff. And it's like now, maybe our two bands can like talk to each other, get shows. Like if you're ever out here or whatever, like, dude, I know all the great places to go, get shows or whatever. And if we're out there or whatever, but
Cool.
there's a lot of different platforms that we're working on for music and getting bands in touch with each other and making a platform so where that bands can actually get into touch with each other and stuff and sort of keep on a page to share their experiences and stuff.
Sweet.
That's another thing that we had in mind to do on like a separate like internet sort of platform.
Cool.
But yeah,
Kyle,
man, like,
so-
what's up, brother?
No, I was just gonna say. So we'll, any specific kind of like more thoughts on what Alister is doing, and then we'll segue you, and we'll give Alister a sense,
Oh,
just
yeah.
a second, just
Sorry,
kind of like close off, and then
rambling.
no, it's cool, man. You're excited, I can tell.
I'm super excited, man. It was so cool.
We all got a
It's
lot to share.
absolutely cool. No, I really enjoy. Yeah, no, like when I was listening to, I only got to listen to it for like a couple minutes while we were sitting here, talking and stuff. But it's really good, dude. And it sounds like the recording was like boss too. By the way, it's like a big deal. It's a good recording.
Yeah.
But
Appreciate that.
yeah, man.
Being
No,
a
like the
musician,
lyrics are really cool. I really like how you set them up, and I like how you make them bounce, and they the rhyming pattern schemes work too. That's a big thing for me. So
yeah, the lyrics are important because, like, again, it's like another version of storytelling. So cool.
But to get your message fully across when you look at magic and how to like I don't know, bring something into conscious reality, they always sort of write it in a way where it sort of like bounces in patterns and almost like poetry. So that's an important aspect of music as well, because that same thing carries over. That's how you deliver your message. So I think
how about the
really captured it
feeling?
good.
How about the feeling you get when you're on stage too? Just that energy,
Yes.
It's almost like you're in an altered state of reality.
One
time
thing
is different. Everything.
You mentioned, like it's like an aggressive energy. I've always like wanted to jump in and be like, oh, I gotta say this to him. Like I gotta let you, like I gotta put my thoughts on it. It's not even like it's a bad energy at all. Heavy metal. It's just powerful. It's just pure raw power. That's just what it is.
And when we can channel that, like that's like man, that's a pretty epic demonstration of like cosmic force there. So sweet. Okay, let's give Alister a chance to just kind of share any additional thoughts, like just any messages of inspiration, wisdom, insight, if there's any other stuff that you're working on. And again, Alister, you can, if you plug your stuff where people can connect with you. But yeah, like it's cool because Alister does a lot of other stuff where he's like creating, little like social media videos, including like sound clips from like interviews that we've done over the past, him on other broadcasts and everything, and he's like combining it with some like very gentle animated like visual psychedelic imagery and everything like that. So I mean, he's definitely, you're putting in a lot of work, man, just to be able to help be a curator for this content, and I think you're doing a great job, man. I know there's a lot of people who really appreciate the amount of energy that you put into your posts, and so I appreciate that as well, man. And yeah, so just giving you a chance, any other stuff, and then we'll pass over to Kyle, give him a chance to kind of introduce himself, and then we're just going to kind of riff for a bit, and then we're going to wrap up this broadcast. And again, shout out to everybody. I know Vanessa, who was in our last who was in one of our leading the shift episodes. She's like the traveling free hugger. She sends her love. She was planning on joining in tonight, but she's doing family time, but definitely she's going to be in on another future broadcast. But for now, Alister, any other thoughts while you have the talking stick that you would like to share? Message of inspiration, wisdom, insight, a message out there for the other people who are creators in their own way, and what they can keep in mind and in heart as they help bring their message out to the world.
All right. So first off, tying in everything that you were talking about, if you go to alistervalidez.com, that'll be my portal, and that'll take you to my pages. And from there, you can see the daily work. I'm always, every day, posting something. day feels incomplete. It's like something's not casted out, you know? So, you know, the message really is that we're all basically more unconscious than we care to admit, you know? Even people that are conscious, we still become unconscious, you know? So it's about carrying that awareness and always carrying self-reflection, you know, on a daily level all the time, you know. And if you do that, then you basically, you know, you're prepared for everything in the life and nothing really bothers you, even when you have conflicts and struggles. You know, you're prepared to handle it, you're prepared to make decisions, and you do the right thing, you know, to make your own life better in that moment, you know. But most of us are portraying this ego, most of us have this image, we're limited, we only express a certain amount of energy and keep within that box, you know. But if you self-reflect and you know, realize all these things are just illusions, then you can become more empowered, you know, for yourself. So that's all about, it's all about self-reflection to empower yourself, you know. So, you know, it's, everything else is secondary. You know, that's the only thing that carries true through your whole life from beginning to end. It's your own self-reflection and how you're perceiving life. So if you can't master your own self, how do you expect to master anything else outside of yourself? You know, you can't. First, you got to start with yourself, and everything else outside starts to fall together for you a little better, you know?
Awesome.
And you know, that's basically the message. You know, it's like, you know, there's nothing really to preach other than to look within yourself. The same message they've been saying for thousands of years, you know?
Yeah. And that, and again, you know, we talked about that in one form or another, even in past broadcasts, but we'll do it again, you know, just this idea that for us, our work is to literally just kind of like, you know, become the best conduits that we can be, because each and every single one of us, there is a powerful message that is here to come through us, and it's here to come through in a variety of mediums, in a variety of different ways. You know, for different people, it's going to come through dance, it's going to come through writing, it's going to come through poetry, it's going to come through body work, massage, it's going to come through dream journaling, it's going to come through whatever way. And not even just one way, whatever way is like the way that is like, you know, the one that really resonates with you. And so if you're still in that place where you're just like, you know, I'm still exploring, I'm still finding my ways, know that by working on yourself, by taking care of your body, by going out of your way, by spending time filling yourself with inspiration by listening to broadcasts like this, by seeing other creators, that's a great way just to be able to help continue to inspire you on that path to be like, hey, like, we're doing this together, you know, we're creating together. So for everybody out there, like, absolutely thank you for, you know, literally being the bridge for higher conscious ideas into mainstream culture, and allowing other people to, again, see that spark, see that light, see that divinity, see that empowerment within themselves. Everybody has the right to be able to awaken within this journey. And, you know, it's the little pieces of art that we create that are just pointing them as we walk our way home. So much love, and thank you again. So Alister, really appreciate you being here, man, and looking forward to being able to, yes, man, and looking forward to being able to collaborate some more. Again, with every person here that you're meeting in the broadcast, these are leading members of the Paradigm Shift Central community. And so as the project continues to build up momentum, you'll be seeing a lot more content from them being posted through the main website as shift entries, such as their featured videos. So even for Alister, we'll be able to get some stuff published of some of his like metal videos on there, again, within the context of it being consciousness shifting media, and also being able to curate content through our Paradigm Shift Central Instagram page as well. And so quick plug for anybody who's listening to this who, again, wants to be able to get more involved with the community as a leading member, you can do that by signing up on our Patreon at the $11 a month which gives you the access to the leading member perks and abilities. But in the meantime, if you just want to be able to get your foot in the door and just be able to connect with your community, you can connect right to our public live chat instantaneously right through paradigmshiftcentral.com. Scroll down, click public live chat, and that will be able to connect you to their Discord server. So please, you are invited. I would love to be able to see you there. Jump in, get a feel for things, and if you feel that being a leading member is right for you, absolutely connect. And that's a great way to be able to help get your voice out there, be around inspiring people, get into that place of accountability, and an awesome place, just an awesome way just to be able to help support the team and be able to just like be a part of this bigger story. So thank you everyone for being here in all the many different forms that we are supporting and are involved in carrying the shift where we are. Much love. So we'll Alister, any other closing thoughts for now before we pass it over to Kyle? I think we've definitely covered some
thanks for
good ground.
letting me have this platform and a chance to express the same message. Thanks.
Awesome. Yes, man. And thank you for allowing us to help introduce more of your content to others. I'm sure there's, just after this broadcast alone, there's going to be quite a few people that are just going to be like, sweet, we got some like more fans here for DMT metal. So, and again, like I love the idea that there's going to be some people that are just going to be like, like, I'm not like, metal's not quite my thing, but if there's a conscious message in it, like maybe I'm gonna give this a chance, so who knows, man, we might just open up that metal door for a few new people here. So I appreciate that, man.
Thanks. Appreciate it, man.
Awesome. Thanks again, man.
All right.
Sweet. All right. So Alister, please stick around if you're able to, and we'll pass over to Kyle. And Kyle, I want to be able to just encourage you to give an introduction. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing to be able to help shift consciousness. If you want to talk about, some of the content that we were talking about off air, but that you want to be able to bring into the Paradigm Shift Essential community. And we'll I don't want to tell you to go quick, but let's kind of like get ready to shift into just like a little bit of riffing, quick conversation, and then we'll get close to wrapping it up. So please, Kyle, as much as you can share within a concise version, and happy to be able to introduce you. And again, Kyle has been involved in the Paradigm Shift Central community going back a couple years ago, and now we are here again, and he's rocking his Paradigm Shift sigil as well. So all right, so Kyle, passing it over to you, man. Go right ahead. And I think I think Alister might have had to step out, so I think it may just be me and Kyle. Again, if anybody in the broadcast, Manders, Katie, if anybody like really wants to join in last minute, please feel free. No pressure. You guys are totally welcome to just chill out in the YouTube chat. And again, know that the door is open for future broadcasts as well. So Kyle, nonetheless, passing it over to you, man. Go ahead, introduce yourself as a leading member to the people in the community, and welcome, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's good to be back, and thanks for having me back, man. It's a great time to, just be breathing. It always is. Okay, so I guess I'm just going to jump right on into it because my time is also turning down. But I wanted to be able to share everything, and it was really awesome. This is a super synchronistic way to step back in to doing stuff here in the community because you had Neil, and then you had what is his name, Alister. Yeah, you had Neil and Alister, and both of those guys both had like exactly like stuff that was right up my alley. You know what I mean? So just so hitting on Neil's stuff, his that like really reflects directly to kind of what I wanted to bring to Paradigm Shift Central directly. That's like my main goal is to, I guess it just took me a while to like figure out, where my plans were at with it all. But like, I've got this big, huge diagram thing that I don't even really understand. It's going to take me a while going over it, but basically it's exploring the universe, uncovering consciousness, and it explores everything down to like our understandings of magic and science and what parts of magic are science and, what magic actually is and what all these calendars and things, religions and stuff, you know what I mean? Why are they all so similar? We take a look at everything abroad. We took a look at energy stuff. This is going to be over a series of videos and written stuff. So it's going to be like articles on the Paradigm Shift website, and it's going to be videos being put out probably on my own YouTube and also in Paradigm Shift, etc. But it's going to be also like understanding consciousness, who we are, what we are, where we're going next. What do we do next as human beings, um, refining energy signals and stuff like that. Um, and a little bit of environmental exploration to help like us sort of learn what's going on around us, and that awareness kind of brings into more of the energy understandings, and like eventually like what does all that have to do with the lights in the sky, you know like Neil was saying, and that's what really got me really excited, because he was talking, and I went right to portaltoascension.com and I checked it right out because it was really cool, and I think
.org. Portal to
that's
Ascension.
.org, yes. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. So, um, like on that whole note of, tying in religion into, well, not religion, but, everything that we see as spirituality or religion or whatever you may believe, you know, all the similarities, all the different contextual things that are like all the different calendar things and everything that like boils down to like numbers and science out of it all, and what that has to do with celestial bodies in the sky, and the fact that like we knew that, and even in ancient times that celestial bodies in the sky affected like our crops down here, and in the times of looking up, then we see these beings, these lights in the sky. At some point somebody was communicated with. At some point, you know what I mean. And this goes all the way back down to like the Anu god kings of Mesopotamia, and all these different things. And it was like, at what point do we tie that in, and at what point do we actually explore that, ever building graveness that this is our reality? And guess it's kind of like almost saying the same thing that Neil said, but like exploring the true ancestry of like who we are and why we are here. And there might not be a why at all, but there is a who we are, and an understanding of who we are can help us drive more positively in the future. It seems, um, here at least like in condensed American society, it's almost like we walk around like not caring about anybody. We walk around like just so numb to everything, and it's almost like everyone's just been trained that way, because that's the only thing that they know. They're only stuck in their world and their needs and their wants, and they're not being consciously mindful of anybody else around them. But it's almost as if, everyone's like stuck in a haze, in a trance. Like there's a machine somewhere that's just like putting off some frequency that's like making everyone be a zombie, or something. It's crazy, when you think about it. It's like everyone's walking around spiritually dead almost, and it's not actually like that. You know what I mean? Because they're not having a good time in their own mind. But there are a lot of people in our society who are very depressed and very upset. And I think maybe if we truly understood some of the things about the way that we work and operate on an energy scale and a alkaline scale, and the way that we work on um, a genetic scale, like tracing our ancestries back to like all human beings abroad, like where did we come from? Did we really pop out of some sort of like racist monkey species, or did we at what point were we genetically engineered, or modified or altered or something of that nature? What these are the things that I want to be able to explore and dive into
Those
and
are the
research and
things.
sort of like
Yeah.
document and create within the
Yeah. There's.
paradigm shift area. That's like I guess my main goal is the tying in our fascination with like divine beings from the sky, the lights in the sky, what we actually believe and know, and what we can know more about ourselves. And I think that's
Yeah, man.
important into helping us drive humanity conscious evolution into the future, as well as like being aware of blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to keep it quick. Being aware of our human condition, because the human condition is very stuck. But the problem with that is that once a human is conditioned, or human condition reaches a certain point of depravity, we as human beings fight to maintain a homeostasis. So once you're there, you're constantly trying to maintain that stasis. Then you're basing all your decisions on survival instincts. You're not basing them on rational decisions. You're not making thought out choices. You're not, calculating. Your brain begins to rapid fire make decisions, because in the society that we live in here down in like America and Delaware and stuff, that's how it is. And more often than not, the incredibly overwhelming demographic is that everybody's living their life like that, because we've all treated each other really, really badly, because our human condition is stuck in trying to perpetuate the cycle of chaos. So we have to literally retrain our brains and heal ourselves that way, like in order to be able, as a human race in a whole, be able to accept each other and like move forward into the future, and then be able to focus on putting our efforts of science and technology into something that would propel us into the future, and creating sciences and technologies that behave in a balance with nature, not something, because a lot of the times we take resource, we use it, we manipulate it, and then it's destroyed. We don't manipulate it in a way where it can easily go back to what it was. It can't be naturally put back there. We've made a chemical, and now that thing is toxic. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. And granted, Earth does have places on it where those things exist naturally, but they're not up here on the surface where things have to live, and where it affects genetics on a way where mutations occur. So, if we're just trying to be mindful about ourselves and our planet and us, you know what I mean?
That's so I want to, I wanted to be able to, before we got too far into some other stuff, I wanted to be able to like go back and just kind of like hit upon one of the things that you were talking about, because like honestly, like and first of all, again, like Kyle, thank you for sharing, man, because again, like that's just kind of like laying out some of the many topics that many people here are very passionate about being able to investigate, research, document, archive more, and a big part of it is like kind of diving into the mysteries, diving into our ancient histories, diving into, again, ufology and everything like that. And just to be able to let people know, like one of the things that I actually do want to be able to use the Paradigm Shift Central platform for is also to be able to help like document like UFO type experiences. So I mean, like that's actually something that I plan on creating as a shift entry. I actually plan on creating a shift entry where I'm like gonna make a detailed video talking about like my UFO experience that happened quite a while ago, but it's still incredibly relevant, and kind of what my thoughts are on that. And again, also at the same time, like inviting other people to be able to share their experiences and everything, because again, I feel like just being able to have a platform to be able to document that, archive it, create those discussions is very important, just to be able to explore those mysteries. And who knows like what the future will have in store, but again, just being able to play with those discussions I think is very important. And then also being able to like bring them back to the relevance of how they can empower us, how they can inspire us, how they can expand our perception of this bigger picture of what reality is, or what it could be as well. So for anybody listening to this, if you're just like, yo, I've seen some UFOs, like I've had some experiences, then absolutely, jump into our public live chat, let us know. And if you want to be able to share those as a leading member in the community, that option will be available to you as well. So yeah, Kyle, again, man, I know there's a lot of topics that we'll definitely be able to get into. Did you want to, like, I know you were talking about your metal band and stuff before, about talking with conscious themes, and like I said, we are going to get close to just kind of what I want to be able to do. I wanted to be able to just bounce the idea around for both of us of, what does it mean to be a shifter? What does it, like, because again, kind of like what we asked last time on the broadcast, which is a question always worth going back to, is the question of, again, like, what is needed? And so what is needed is for us to be shifters and light guardians. What does it mean to be a shifter? And I was just going to ask you that as well. Before we dive into that, and then we'll shift over into our closing meditation, is there any particular links, social media wise, or things that you want to be able to give people direction to be able to search up if they want to be able to find stuff for like your band or anything else that you want to be able to share? Please do
Yeah,
that.
I'll go ahead and drop my band's Facebook in here. That's probably a good idea, at least, to do that. We have um, 5 songs, 4 or 5. We have 5 or 6 songs that we've actually like completely written, and not every one of them is recorded, so we're still in the building process. We do a lot of shows right now. We're recording these things ourselves. So, I mean, the quality is actually pretty good. We've been told by a lot of our friends and local bands that pay to have their stuff recorded that we do a really, really excellent job, and that it sounds very professional, and they don't see any problem with it. So we're very, very proud of that, I guess.
Cool, man.
Where is
And
this page here?
yeah, and so
A lot
what
of
would
the
people look up for
Yeah,
the
so
page?
yeah, no, I've got it right here. Yeah, no, the lyrics that I like to write are generally, you know, consciously aware in many different ways. Sometimes it's all right. I'm gonna drop the link to the band's Facebook right
Yeah,
here
and
in the
just
live chat. Boom.
say the link as well for the people listening.
What's it? Yeah, what's that? It's facebook.com/aberrant light band /. That's it.
Do you want to
And
spell that?
so aberrant is, so this is how you spell aberrant. ABERRANT.
What does that mean?
All right, so aberrant, and what is an aberration? And it's like a mutation. It is a change. It's almost seen as like like a chaotic sort of switch, or like an unwelcome circumstance or something, and light. So it's kind of like strange light or like mutated light. So kind of just something unique that I thought of. And it sounds really cool
Sweet.
too.
Awesome, man. Well, definitely for everybody here, please check that out. And again, Kyle will post a link into the Facebook chat, and we'll post it into the show notes as well. And again, for everybody watching this on Facebook, please jump over to YouTube. That way so you can see the show notes. And yeah, so Kyle, just riff with me for a second. Like what does being a shifter mean to you? So again, like we've boiled it down for the people watching this who may be new. One of the ways that I explain being a shifter is, again, being able to be someone who is intentionally helping shift consciousness through acts of creativity and compassion. That's kind of one of the simplest ways that I can boil it down. And within that, there's a wide spectrum of all the different things that we can do. But again, it's also, again, a lot to do with this like deeper calling, this deeper devotion, this deep duty as well. And I know, like for both of us, for me and you, and for a lot of people in the community, we really resonate with this, where it's like, there's just like we wouldn't be us if we weren't trying to be able to make a difference. If we were to just like idly stand by, kind of what you were saying, you're observing the culture, and it doesn't take a genius to be able to look at the world and just be like, yeah, there's things are out of balance, like this isn't how humans should be living. Therefore, again, going back to that question, what is needed? What can we do? What does it mean to be a shifter? So let's just riff on this for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to get into our closing meditation. So Kyle, go ahead. What does being a shifter mean for you?
Well, I mean, I would say it's anything at all that's actively trying to push, or not necessarily push, because push it itself can be like a violent thing. You know what I mean? So I would say it's anybody who is actively trying to either better themselves, better, and by doing that, bettering the situations and world around them, because that's the first thing that you can do in order to create positive change in any environment. As if, you know what I mean, to start with yourself. And I would say that being a shifter is really anyone who's trying to actively help consciousness change. And it all starts with yourself. So if you're actively trying to elevate your own consciousness and seek out others that are doing that, then you're one of us. You know what I mean? You're one of the people who are seeking a better future, a better tomorrow for whoever it might be for. You know, it might not be for us, but you know, I might not even ever have kids, but guess what? Like, I
It's
want to see
still
it
worth
happen.
it.
I want to see it
Yeah.
happen. You know, whether or not that's, you know, just truth seeking in general. Whether if you are a truth seeker, if you want to know the reality of reality, if you know, if you're tired of feeling like, you know, your day job is just, and I mean, I go to work, dude. I have a day job, of course. Like, you know what I mean? I don't make money on anything else. I don't, you know, our band's not super big. We're not giant or anything. So, you know what I mean? I go to work every day and keep it zen, and I come home and then I chill out and I'll hang out with my plants in my garden and, you know, notice, you know, and then at that point you feel like a scientist, you know what I mean? Like that's it. And that's the thing is like being involved in any kind of like active engagement with the universe in that way, that's paradigm shifting. That is changing your immediate paradigm, at least. Like being a scientist, going out and looking at dirt, noticing the little bugs and thinking about what they're doing, and noticing the differences. You know what I noticed today, dude? There was a millipede latched onto the back of another millipede taking a ride. I don't believe they were mating.
That's
I don't
interesting.
know how millipedes mate. However, I like looked and it was like, no, I just see legs. I don't see any kind of actual connection going on. Like, and it was just the craziest thing. And like yesterday, there was,
Interesting.
you know, the pictures that I tagged in the Paradigm Shift Central team on Instagram. The one was just of the tomatoes, and the other one was just that the little tendril that coiled up with the two bugs on either side. Now, when I first saw that, they were both like perfectly symmetrical, and then one of them got scared or whatever, was moving around. But you know, and like that synchronicity from yesterday, that was two, and then today see two insects, you know, doing something obscure or whatever, and then that's two in a row, so that's two, two, two. So there you go. There's your synchronicity, bro.
Yeah.
So all
Yeah,
these
man.
different things, and then you've learned something, you've recognized something, and I mean, you know, being a scientist, being a music creator, being an artist on paper, if you're inspiring others, if you're just, you know, I guess that you don't really have to actually say a whole lot more than that. If you're inspiring others and yourself every day, then you got it.
Mm-hmm. I like what you just said, like if you're inspiring yourself, you know, like that's something that probably a lot of us don't
Yeah,
really think about quite in that mindset. It's just like, am I inspiring myself? But I feel like that actually should be something that we should reflect on, you know, like
yeah,
sometimes we're just kind of, we'll create something amazing or we'll do something amazing and we'll just like put it out there, and then we'll wait for people to be able to respond to it, and then people will be like, yes, that inspired me, that inspired me. But at the same time, I think we have to be able to like step back and give ourselves that credit, you know, again, kind of like treat ourselves like the beloved, and really just kind of be able to be like, wow, dude, like what, like, man, like I did some amazing things this week. I made some
yeah,
amazing art. I like made people feel a certain way. I like did free hugs. I did dancing and stuff like that. Like shout out to Free Spirit Living, Katie, who's in the live chat. Katie actually was like in the Pride Parade that I was talking about earlier, and she was dancing in the Pride Parade, and she does like belly dancing and everything like that. So I mean, like, just again, every single one of us, I think we really do have to give ourselves credit and to really intentionally look for the ways in which we are inspiring ourselves, even if it's something simple. Maybe it was like waking up early and taking a walk during this like early morning or something, or again, maybe it was like writing some poetry. But I think being able to inspire ourselves is actually a super important thing that probably we don't really think about enough. And yeah, man, like again, I think what you were saying, I agree with. Being a shifter is being a seeker, and it's being able to constantly like see the world through new eyes, and being able to see the world in a way that is like this ongoing intimate conversation between you and higher consciousness, universe, whatever you want to call it. Like that's one thing that I've noticed, is that like by being a shifter, by being a seeker, by being a light guardian, it's this constant stream of synchronicities. It is like this constant path that is kind of like laid out before us. And again, it's kind of like this idea going back to the alchemist, where it's like when you conspire for something, the entire universe like conspires to make it happen. When you decide on what you want, the universe will conspire to make it happen. So for each and every one of us, if what we want is literally to just be able to like, you know, help make the world a better place, to share our art, to develop ourselves, then know that the universe is literally like unfolding this path before you. And then we start getting these synchronicities along the way that just kind of remind us that like, oh my God, you know, like things are happening, things are a part of this like non-linear narrative that is unfolding. So again, as a shifter, a lot of it has to do with dropping into that place of deep trust, deep courage, and to know that like this is an ongoing journey of lucidity that is just going to continue to unravel through stages of awakening, stages of further inspiration, stages in which we continue to surprise ourselves. And it comes from just like making that a choice. And that's always the thing that I've always said, and we'll get close to wrapping this up, you know, choose to be the change you wish to see is what Gandhi has said. Personally, I like to put the little twist on it and literally bring it down to choose to be the change that you wish to see, bringing in a little bit more of that personal responsibility, where it is literally something where you are making that step, you are making that promise, you are making that devotion. So for everybody here, for all the shifters, for all the light guardians, I really encourage you to kind of drop into that space within yourself, either right now or just when you get the chance to drop in deeper on your own, and really just reflect, like, what do you devote yourself to? What promises do you make to the earth, to Gaia, to God, to consciousness, to yourself? What promises, and not even just like promises in the sense of saying like, hey, I'm gonna make this happen, but more so, hey, I'm gonna show up every day with my best effort, I'm gonna show up every day with an intention. And again, you know, you don't need to have kids in order to be able to stand for the future, because the fact is that we are all children of the earth. And so let's see the collective family that we are. Like, I stand for your kids, I stand for the kids, I stand for the generations yet to come. And so again, going back to what we kind of started the broadcast on, these moments when we show up together as a team and just get more dialed in, more inspired, let us cultivate this, let us embody this, and let us carry this with us into everything that we do. If you are listening to this broadcast, you are a part of the game, you are a part of the team. Let our momentum be your momentum, let our courage be your courage. Let you go out there and shift paradigms, knowing that we are doing it together, and together we are just constantly creating this collective momentum. And you never know, and that's the beautiful thing. And every single day, you know, more and more people are just like starting to see things differently. And it really also comes back to being able to be that light, being able to be that spark of hope in a very often dark, chaotic world. So let us be the harmony, let us be the alternative, let us be the story that people are going to be excited to be a part of. Let's switch from apathy to inspiration, you know? So for everybody watching this, again, I deeply thank you for everything you've done, everything you do, and everything you continue to do, knowing the difference that it is making, even if it's within your immediate household, even if it's raising your children, even if it's taking care of your parents, whatever it is, go to where you are called in that moment. And that is where you are meant to be. And then continue to be open to wherever the universe continues to call us to. And together, let's keep creating this momentum as a team. We are leaders inspiring other leaders, and we are making a difference. Again, we are literally accelerating the shift in consciousness. And that's a big theme within Paradigm Shift. Because if you were to not do that thing today because you just didn't have that spark, you didn't have that motivation, then XYZ would not have happened. And then who knows what the butterfly effect would have been of that. But when we show up just to be able to like step out our door, maybe take a shift button with us, maybe, you know, talk to a stranger at a bus stop, maybe create that piece of art that we weren't entirely like fully sure if we should publish, but then we do. And then people start responding, people start getting feedback, people start telling you and be like, oh my God, this is exactly what I needed. So again, understand that what you give is also what the universe is ready to receive. And there's a reason for you feeling it coming up within you. So again, we have the free will This is the trippy part. We have the free will to be able to just like at any moment just be like, no, I let this go. I'm not gonna post today. I'm not gonna make that song. I'm not gonna go for a walk. I'm just gonna kind of, and again, oftentimes that will come just from a place of kind of like apathy, or maybe there's just something within us that needs a little bit more attention and a little bit more love. And so when we are nurturing each other as a community, less of that becomes frequent. And so instead of those days, like, not to say rest isn't important, you want to rest, you want to be able to rest in healthy ways, but instead of just seeing the story where, people have this huge message within them, but they just aren't inspired to share it, instead we become like that catalyst for each other to be like, hey, I'm sharing my art, you can share your art, and let's share our art together, knowing that it's going to inspire other people to share art. So again, as shifters, as light guardians, I am devoted to the idea that we as a team, as a collective, as a community, are literally changing the world through the magic of our art, through the magic of our actions. So for all the light guardians out there, pew pew pew, pew 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 pew, turning on my light guardian crystal. Love you guys. Awesome. All right. So let's get really close to wrapping this up, but I do just want to be able to pass over to Kyle. Just any closing words of gratitude and any other additional inspiration to be able to share. And then we'll move into a closing meditation, and then we'll call it a wrap, and we'll get to bed relatively early tonight. So go ahead, Kyle. Cool. Passing it back to you.
Oh, man. I'm just really appreciate everyone listening, and I really appreciate having the space to be able to share my ideas. And I've come to know that, I actually think a lot of people really resonate with what I have to say, and my ideas on the universe and stuff. So I'm just glad to have a space to be able to share that. And I actually think it's really important. And, I just want to be able to help take the human condition and refine it into something better. But that has to be done with like a training. It's not just going to happen overnight. Like, you can't just like pray and hope that people are going to do so. It's like about engaging people and getting them engaged in the self-help that they need to do and the healing that they need to go under, and be able to like, come in and be like, oh, okay, now I see. I could see, where, either where like, I went wrong, or where, I was placed astray somehow, or, or whatever, that's just going on in the world, where the common demographic is just sort of like, pain and just like really just like dark, depressing stuff. Everyone's so upset, and I'm like, I know what it's like to be like that, but there's ways that you can handle those things in a better way. You know what I mean? I just want to be able to see the people around me, like, I guess, kind of like get a little happier, and you know what I mean? Like, that's what it's all about, like engaging and spreading love, and inviting others to feel welcome to embark on that as well. So
creating meaningful connection. And again, a lot of people have kind of heard this idea that like kind of the issue with today's society comes from a lack of meaningful connection. So how can we create those meaningful connections, and again, and that starts with the meaningful connections that we're creating with ourselves as well.
So to allow ourselves to be a little bit vulnerable, a little bit feeling.
Yep, absolutely. That's it. Absolutely. Yeah, like absolutely. If you are putting yourself out there, it involves like a sense of vulnerability, but it also comes with like this gift of being able to like step into more of who you are and step into more courage. Like, just as a quick example, I mentioned earlier in the broadcast that one of our leading members in the community, Lacey Joy, who hopefully we'll be able to have on air for the next Dream class, she went out of her way to create her first YouTube video this week, and literally just kind of turned on the camera, did a one shot take, and it was her talking about a very cool dream that she had. And again, you'll be able to see this as a shift entry in this coming week. And so again, just something as simple as that, where it's just like, come on, like, if Lacey can do it, we can do it, you know? So let's get into that state where we're continually inspiring each other, and you're inspired by the people that have been making content for 10 years in the same way that we are inspired by the people who are picking up that camera and putting themselves on the internet and sharing their message for maybe the very first time. And that is why I created Paradigm Shift. You know, that is why I created this platform, because I want to be able to inspire people to be able to take that step, to be able to be like, what voice is inside of me? What message is inside of me? What do I want to be able to share with the world? And then to be able to have a platform and a community where they can practice doing this. And a key word literally being practice, but also play. And that is a part of how we play this game, by creating, by putting ourselves out there in ways that we haven't before, by experimenting, by exploring, and again, by leveling up. So Lacey might have posted her first video today. Flash forward 5 years from now, she's got a YouTube channel with like 1 million subscribers, and she's like making all sorts of awesome income and traveling the world and inspiring more people. Hey, maybe it starts off with that first vid. So where does it start for you? Maybe it starts just by you taking that first breath. So knowing that it's obviously already started long before this, but the next chapter, what is the next chapter of your story? What do you want to create? What do you want to share with the world? How do you wish to do it? And again, I'm not expecting everyone to make a YouTube channel. All I want you to be able to do is listen deeply to your soul, because again, that is how you move forward. Forward isn't always, you know, making more money, getting more popular, posting big stuff on Instagram. Moving forward is when you listen deeply to your soul. So listen deeply to your soul and allow that to be your guide for what it is that you want to do. And then again, connect with your community to be able to get the support in doing it. So awesome stuff. All right. So Kyle, again, just passing it over to you, just final gratitude before we move into this meditation. Go ahead, dude.
Oh, I'm just really happy to be able to be here and share what I've got to share. I'm just excited to be able to, you know, be here and be heard. So thank you, everybody, for listening to me.
Awesome.
Today.
Perfect. Awesome. Sweet. Thanks, Kyle. All right, guys, girls, children of the earth, as I make this as inclusive as I can.
Yeah.
Let's get ready to move into a little bit of a meditation. And so again, we'll just drop into this real quick. Quick reminder for those of you who are tuned into this, join us again Thursdays at around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for future broadcasts. Again, be sure to check out ParadigmShiftCentral.com, connect to our public live chat, download the mobile app to be able to get notifications and explore more support on Patreon. We're working towards our next team milestone of 100 supporters, and we're currently floating around 85. So again, if you're listening to this, if every single person listening to this were to sign up to the Patreon, that'd be a huge boost for the community. And thank you again, everybody who supports already on Patreon. And thank you to everyone who supports in any form. Your support in any format is equally appreciated. So thank you again, everyone, for just being here. So with that said, let's drop into this meditation and then we'll close it off. So thank you again, everyone. You guys are my superheroes. You're so awesome. All right. Let's get into a little bit of meditation. For everyone listening to this, we're going to just shift vibrations here as we just allow ourselves to close our eyes. Allow yourself to find a place of stillness within yourself. Begin connecting with your breath. Gentle inhales through the nose. Gentle exhales through the nose and the mouth. Gentle inhales through the nose. And gentle exhales through the nose or the mouth. As you continue to breathe here, I want you to imagine yourself sitting inside of a very special temple, a temple that is just for you. And within this temple, you walk inside and you see a mirror standing in front of you. This is a very special mirror. the reflection that shines back in this mirror is the fully actualized, activated avatar form of yourself. And so as you look into this mirror, allow yourself to see the you that exists beyond just this physical form alone. The you that is equipped with beautiful garbs, maybe imagining yourself dressed up in some sort of futuristic attire. Maybe there's even like face paint on you. Maybe there's like magic jewels on you. Maybe there's minimal on you. In this moment, I want you to slowly, as you stand in front of the mirror, gently raise your hand up to it. Put one hand on your chest. I want you to do this physically right now. I want you to physically put one hand on your chest. And I want you to hold one hand up. You can do this physically too. One hand up in front of you. And gently imagine the moment when you make contact with this mirror. And as you do, I want you to straighten up your spine, and I want you to take a deep breath. And I want you to be able to receive wisdom, inspiration, insight, feeling, and energy from your higher self. I want you to be able to feel an infinite amount of love being sent to you from your higher self. And eye gaze with yourself in this mirror right now. This is like the cosmic superhero badass version of yourself, which you already are. And as you stand here in front of the mirror, making eye contact with yourself, eye gazing with yourself, first, you're going to express words of gratitude for yourself. And then you're going to listen to what your higher self has to say back to you. So speak to yourself in this moment. Speak to yourself with inspiration and motivation and gratitude. So you can say to yourself, you can just be like, you are doing so wonderful. You have so much magic inside of you. You have already grown so much. The impact that you have made is profound. The art that you're creating is changing people's lives. The expression that you have to share is inspiring others. So take a few breaths here and just speak to yourself. What words do you need to share to yourself of gratitude? And now, gently shift perspectives and allow yourself to be able to receive words, insight, feeling, support, love from this higher version of yourself. So allow yourself to kind of soften your mind. Allow yourself to receive. You have a message for yourself in this moment, something that's important for you to hear. It may be a sentence, it may be a phrase, it may be one word, it may be a feeling. Maybe silence. That's okay too. Just breathe here in this moment. Allow yourself to listen. What does your higher self have to say to you in this moment? Go ahead. Take a few more breaths here. Continue to make eye contact with yourself in the mirror. Hand on your chest, you can gently release it if you want. And just conclude this moment again, this very, very brief, yet simple, yet potent meditation. And just express gratitude again for this other part of yourself in this mirror, which again is a reflection of what is inside of you, not which is separate from you. So gently, if you wish, imagine yourself bowing to this part of yourself in this mirror, this part of yourself that is already who you are. And allow yourself to see that as who you are more and more each day. The you who you are, the you who you are becoming, the you that you have always been. So allow yourself to just express gratitude for the reflection to yourself. And know that this is a sacred temple that you can return to at any moment. And there are plenty more mysteries within it for you to explore. Take a moment here in your heart to be able to just send out gratitude for the team. Thinking of all the other shifters out there, the grid that we create around the world. Feeling the connection of light between us. Anchoring in consciousness as pillars of light. Take 2 more breaths here. Just send out in your mind, just say like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. To all the people listening to this, to all the people not listening to this, to all the shifters, to all the light guardians, to all the artists, to all the dancers, to all the free huggers, to all the YouTubers, to all the creators, to all the conduits, to all the world bridgers. Thank you. Begin to conclude this meditation. 1 or 2 more breaths. Remember what this feels like in your heart, this interconnectedness between us as a team. This connection that we share, let it be like an etheric, energetic cable that charges each of us with inspiration. So beyond this broadcast, you will move throughout your day with a little bit more inspiration because you are now connected with the motivation and courage of the team. So everything that you do, we do together as a team. Collective momentum. Beautiful. Gently bring yourself back to the awareness of your body, taking your time. And when you are ready, slowly open your eyes and return your awareness to the space around you. Awesome. Sweet. We are back.
Pretty good, man. Pretty good, like transcendental meditation.
Yeah, quick little transcendental meditation there. It's kind of the same thing. Yeah, so we will be doing I definitely do want to get into doing some like super deep guided global meditations in the future. I know a lot of you really enjoy when we do those, so stay tuned. Those will be coming in the future. And yeah, thank you again everybody so much for being a part of this broadcast. Again, tune in for future Synergy Circles and other broadcasts that we do Thursdays at 9:30. Every broadcast that we do is going to be different because there's going to be different people here every week. There's going to be some new leading members who will be able to introduce, and there's still like quite a few who, again, just based on schedule, haven't been able to jump in just yet. So stay tuned. You'll be able to meet more leading members of the team, and hey, maybe you'll be on one of these broadcasts as well, and we are be more than happy to be able to invite you on. So again, if you want to be able to connect further with the Paradigm Shift Central team, go to paradigmshiftcentral.com. Through there, you can download the mobile app, connect to our public live chat. You can learn more about becoming a leading member, and you can support on Patreon. When you support on Patreon at any donation, you get at least a 25% discount for items at questitemshop.com, which include the Light Guardian crystals, the shift buttons, the free hug signs, and other items. And again, you can earn points by sharing shift buttons, and at the end of the month, people with the most points will be able to win prizes as well. And yeah, be sure to subscribe at youtube.com/SkullBabylon and check out Mystic Spider-Man on Instagram, and as well as Paradigm Shift Radio on Instagram, and check out some of the shift entries we got online and more content coming to you in the future. And please leave a comment afterwards on YouTube if you watch this, and if you're watching this on Instagram, please as well follow the link to YouTube to be able to smash that like button. And I look forward to being able to join you here once again. Next week's broadcast, August 8th, is going to be Dream Class. We're going to be talking specifically about dream practices, metaphysics, lucid dreaming, talking about dream experiences that we've had. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be a very exciting episode. And yeah, in the meantime, please just continue to stay connected across all our social media platforms. And of course, go out there. Keep sharing your art. Keep sharing your smiles. Keep sharing your hugs. Keep sharing the truth that is within your hearts, for that is what is needed right now. So Kyle, any just I guess I think we've pretty much said all we need to say. So unless Kyle, any super closing thoughts before we wrap it up?
Man, I've always got something
gratitude.
extra to say. I always have a little something extra to say, man. But I'm gonna keep it easy and just wish everybody the best. And
awesome.
Just want everyone to know, we're all here on the planet for each other. So
yeah, man,
we're
doing it.
Open your hearts and take care of your bros and your
awesome
sisters and stuff.
Take care of yourself. Take care of others.
Yes, and take care of yourself.
Perfect. All right, so with that said, we'll wrap it up. So Kyle, join me in saying farewell to everybody tuned into this as we bring up the outro music. So thank you again, everyone, for being a part of the broadcast. ParadigmShiftCentral.com. Keep it shifty, make some noise.
Yeah. Woo.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you again, everyone.
I remember
so
it used
much.
to be like 10 or 12 people all screaming at the same time. Yeah.
Oh, stay tuned. We'll have more of that in the future.
Yeah.
So we're just getting started.
Solid broadcast.
All right. Awesome. Thank you again, Kyle. And thank you again, everybody, for being here. This has been Skull Babylon, Mystic Spider-Man, Wolf Shield. Keep it shifty, and we'll see you in the future. Much love. Special thank you to Danny Leonardo, whose music is featured at the beginning and end of this broadcast. Please feel free to check out more of Danny's work through the link in the YouTube info below. Thank you, Danny.